Okay, long overdue. Sorry to quit. But anyways, here's the settings. So first is the Oculus settings. You just want to open up the app and yeah, hop over the devices, and then you can just click on it, and you'll get to this page. The most important thing is just graphical preference. You can also take a look at these options as well. Since I have voice meter running, right? I know, what the fuck am I looking at? Yeah. So I have it connected to that program, so I have these settings for it. But you can mess around with it for your personal audio preferences. Anyways, here we have the important bits, which is 90 Hz, 120 Hz, and the resolution. I have it at 1.3 at this resolution scale. If your GPU can handle it, obviously just crank that up all the way to 1.5 because that is going to be the native resolution, basically. But my GPU isn't strong enough for that. It's a 6800 XT, so I have it settled at 1.3. It looks pretty alright for the most part, especially in AMS2. It looks good, but in AC, Assetto Corsa is just weird. Like the settings, you have to really play around with it because there's so many. And then again, if your GPU is strong enough, you should probably turn this up to a 120 Hz if it allows for it. But I can easily hit 90 FPS for most maps, so I have it set to that instead. And speaking of these Hertz things, next is after you have connected your Quest 3 to your computer, aka you go into the link setting, and then you click on something like Quest Link or whatever it's called. Yeah, when you get the big white box, basically the back rooms of the VR. When you launch that, take off your headset and then open up the debug tool. There's a lot of videos on this about where the location is, but let me just do it quickly. You want to go to your C drive, your program files, and you scroll down to find Oculus supports and diagnostics, and then you'll see the debug tool right here, this one. Double click on that. I would recommend having a shortcut to it, or in my case, I just flat out pinned it to my taskbar, because every time you boot up or you connect your headset to the link, it's going to turn on asynchronous space warp, which is basically forcing your FPS to a stable amount. So for example, this will default to a 45 FPS if it thinks my PC isn't running, or if it sees that my PC isn't running 90 FPS flat. Even though it's like running at like 70 to 80 FPS, even when that happens, it's still gonna default or set your FPS to 45, and just press disable it, and then you'll be able to keep your FPS high, even though it's kind of fluctuating between like 80 to 90. The bad thing about this is every time you connect your Quest link, this is gonna reset to auto. So every time you connect your Quest to your computer, you have to open up this program and press disable. So anyways, here's the rest of the debug tool settings, because some of these are important. The video codec, for example, I would recommend it at H.264 because apparently H.265 has some issues, but that was like 3 months ago. So maybe you can test it out. And for my H.264, my bitrate is at 800. I think the Quest 3's maximum bitrate is 950. You won't be able to type in 950 on its own. You'll have to open up literally anything else. For like example, you can open up your browser and just type in 800 or whatever your number is. Copy and paste it into this box right here, and it'll take the it'll accept the amount, and then everything else here I think is default. So yeah, that's about it. All right, anyways, on to AC settings. First you have your video, Assetto Corsa. I do have Open Composite or OpenXR running, so this is why my rendering mode is in OpenVR. For AMD users out there, like the 6800 XT or the 6000 series, you won't be able to use foveated rendering because for that card, it only works with DX12 API games, and Assetto Corsa runs on DX11, and so foveated rendering would not work with our GPU. If you're NVIDIA, if you have like a 30 series and up, it will allow for foveated rendering even in Assetto Corsa with DX11. So keep that in mind. So quality, MSAA, you can jack this all the way up to 8 times, but I have it at 2 times just to be conservative, because I want to keep my FPS high enough for the majority of online lobbies that I do. And then you have these. I'm not gonna explain all this. You know what this is. So yeah, pause this video and then have a look. Nothing important here, I think. So custom shaders patch. This is gonna get confusing because I don't even know what I'm looking at. I think most importantly, really the only thing you want to look at is mode tweaks VR, because there's a lot of options in here. There's single pass stereo. I forget exactly what it does, but I think since your VR headset has 2 like separate, eye holes, they compute different things and try to sync them up together. But single pass just gives the same image across both eyes. I could be talking out of my ass, so take this with a grain of salt. And I think this saves on some performance. You get your... I don't know what this is actually, so I don't have it turned on. Let's see. Some of these options are changed, as you can see. But these are just like controller, as you can read. So the VR HUD, this is the most important part for me, I think, because in AC, when you set up your car, the HUD is going to be really, really close to you because it's based on where your driver position is in the game. And so the HUD is basically going to be pressed up against your face. So you want to have these settings so you have like a more of an arc around you so that you can actually look and not break your neck trying to find the settings while you tune your car. And then let's see, where's the mirroring? Here, I am blind as hell right now. Let me try to find the mirroring. Where is it? Yeah, this one right here. So VR mirroring depends. You can change it to right eye or left eye. Don't do any of these; they suck. Other thing, mirrors. I have it on VR locked because if you don't have this, when you move your head in the game, the mirror's POV moves with you, and it looks kind of jarring. I know it's trying to simulate like how it looks in real life, but it feels nothing like real life for me. So I just have it locked. Let's see. Generally, I think I kept the same settings across the board in terms of CSP from my monitor to my VR presets. Besides the fact that extra effects cannot be turned on, since if you read this tagline right here, for now only works for single screen without VR, yada yada yada. So yeah, no extra effects in VR, which kind of make your game look like shit. So best get a very good PP filter to slightly compensate for that. Other than that, I think that's all the options I have tweaked in CSP. Most important part is just your video settings, and you can kind of play around with that to suit your liking. If you're fine with like 72 Hz, I would recommend turning MSAA up so you get less jagged edges. There are some presets out there, if you search for them, that will basically have these all the way cranked, which gets rid of the pixelation through your goggles or your VR headset, but you're going to be running 45 FPS most likely. So where's the fun in that? So yeah, I think that's it. That's enough yapping. Oh, this part. Yeah, this part is kind of important too. A lot of people set these to different values. As you can see, the description says set negative value like -1 to sharpen the image. So if you want your image to be sharper, which to be fair is already sharp enough with the amount of jagged lines you get with 2x MSAA, but if you want sharper images, just crank this up. This one, I don't think it really has any effect from what I remember, so just leave it as default. And your PPI, well, pixel per display, you want to set it in your Oculus app instead of in the game. Okay, I think that's all. Hopefully you can read all the text. I have it recorded in 2K, but it won't be zoomed in. So, good luck.